my project is more of a spin-off project. It's a project of the foundation or a not-for-profit organization. What we want to do is transfer it into a corporation or a for-profit entity due to some limitations of what the foundation can do. Okay. So can you turn on the next slide, please, Cassandra? Thank you. So I hope you had watched the video that was pictured or made by DWTV. It's a German channel. It all talks about how we do things. Basically, it's more of a. Can you turn on the third slide, please? Okay. So what you can see from here is on the left side, you're going to see that that's where the micro retailer is. Because what we do is how we take the products to the end users, we use entrepreneurs or micro entrepreneurs. So this happens in two ways. The first one is through direct selling, as you can see from the left picture above. Then the other one is like a mom and pop store, or we call it a Happy Nice store here, where Mark is also helping me with this one. On the right side, you're going to see it's a Muscovado. It's an organic sugar. But what's important to highlight on that is also, what do you call this, related to the environment. And the second one is energy efficiency. You can see from the extreme right, large cook stoves that we are trying to make it energy efficient. And we are also helped by Alexis Belonios, who was a tech awardee, I guess, from Stanford. Okay, next slide, please. So why did I select this particular project or eco-business? Eco-business stands for environment, community, and organic agriculture. First of all, you can see that in the Philippines, there are 2 million families without access to electricity. They are using kerosene light. The second one is there are still 2 million families who are using fuel as a firewood, which is very inefficient. The third one, which accounts for my organic project, the Muscovado, is there's a lot of sugar cane farmers in the Philippines. And if you look at the market side of it, the trend in Europe is also increasing. And you know, if there's something going on in the first world, like for example, commodities are starting to pick up from the consumer, that's what also happens in the third world country. So I think it's a good trend. Okay, can you turn on the next slide, please? Then, okay, so what's my value proposition to the poor? Or shortly saying, why should they pay for our services? Because with our services, we can increase their productivity and increase their income through the provision of renewable and energy efficient technologies. Or shortly saying, we can give them additional income from, if it's solar, savings from the kerosene, and these are also validated by some of our partners, like from Planet Entrepreneurs. The second point is it also increased their productivity, especially for mom and pop stores, because you know, if there's no light after sunset or 6 p.m., the business is closed. But if you do have light, a good source of one, the business continues. The same case with the handicrafts maker. Then, of course, if you are selling the products like the micro retailers where we have direct seller or the mom and pop store, you will be having additional income for that. And lastly, the impact on health and studies. I mean, when you say studies, the children are able to increase their study time when they do their work. Next slide, please. Now, this is my value chain. I pulled this out from Lighting Asia write-up by IFC World Bank. I always use a third-party write-up to make it more believable or convincing. So what happens here is a card was given by a capacity building by Asian Development Bank. Then card side by side, CARD also imports solar lanterns or buy from distributors or local, national distributors. Then how he does things is it is channeled to Happy community stores. Then after that, the end user buys it. Okay. Then you can see from the right side that there's also a financing component. Financing can happen for the micro retailers who wants to sell solar, and the other ones for the end users. Okay. Now the challenges in here is always in the Philippines it's difficult to distribute. We have 7,000 islands, and I think 50% of that is habitable, and the transportation is a challenge. So you really need to be creative in how to make your cost very low. The second challenge is in the value chain is, of course, the financing. If you really want to scale this one up, you need a huge funding for this one. For me, I am clear that what I want is not equity investment, but more of soft loans or developmental loans. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so this is the new, before the next slide, which was pulled out from IFC report, that was the value chain. But after GSBI, I had realized that I need to look more on the environment where I am operating. Okay, so I tried to make a more complex but understandable value chain or diagram. So what happens here is CARD BDSFI will partners with manufacturers, inventors. Then on the left hand, you need to have a wholesale lenders with you. Then of course work more with the importers and logistic providers. Which one's cheaper? Then intensify the rural reselling through associations, cooperatives, Happy stores, or micro direct sellers. In here, I included that the financing can be made by microfinance cooperative institution, but you will see some changes on my business plan, especially in the finances. Next slide, please. Okay, so I decided to make a 3 years income statement projection. And like I've said, this is a spin-off, so I have a beginning balance to begin with, okay? But this December 2012, I'm looking at 8.8 million. The equivalent of that is around $200. Sorry, $200,000. That's the gross sales that I'm looking at. Then I will have an operating cost of 2.2. Then my net operating income will be 461,000 pesos. So this one is, I based this on the fishbone structure because I found it very useful, because fishbone structure for me is more of a, if you are in finance, you'll see that it's more of a common size numbers, okay? When I say common size numbers, on a snap, you will be able to identify if you have a 100 sales, how much that is for your admin or your profit margin. So that's how I did things. So I made it 3 years of financial statement. Okay. So for the second year on December or fiscal year of 2013, I'm only looking at double the outreach or double the sales. Okay. But on the 2014, I'm looking at a 5 times growth. The reason why I have only as a 2 year, conservative or 100% increase on 2013 is because I want to perfect the system first. I believe that we should start right first before scaling it up. Okay. And if you look at our organization, we are known for exponential growth. We have years of development, then suddenly booms up. Okay, can you turn the slide, please? Thank you. So, on the balance sheet, you can see on December 2012, it's all of an equity for us. It means we're using our own money. But on 2013, we are planning to use not other people's money, but we want to borrow some money if it's possible, because right now we can borrow from our mother institution card, but the rate is very high. It's around 9%. That's why I always keep on mentioning that we're hoping here in the GSB someone can help us in bargaining, not bargaining, but suggesting for funds that a lot smaller, or yeah, okay. So basically the story of this balance sheet is 2013 and 2014 we're going to incur some liabilities. So we're hoping that we can get a better loan or better deal on loans for that on the wholesale funds. Next slide, please. But for the balance sheet, I think we have a debt of equity ratio at around 1:6. So unit economics, like I've said, just base it on the fishbone structure. The cost of goods should be 70% only. The operating expense 25%. Gross profit margin over sales 29%, and net income before tax is 5%. It's very low. It's very missionary. That's why when I said I was clear that what we need is just soft loans, because perhaps my project will not be that attractive to financial investors. But when you look at the ROE from 0.5, it jumps to 3.79, because if we were able to borrow funds from other lenders, definitely our ROE will increase. Okay, so for project officer, for operations, for measuring the operational side of our business, so a project officer should have at least 50 channels, 50 micro retailers, generating 60,000 sales of solar per year, then 5 common milling facility, or 200,000 per year. Okay, or in unit term, a project officer should be able to sell 1,186 pieces of lanterns and 30 home systems.